Craft brews and casual conversations. Today is a unique episode indeed, for it's been quite some time since not one, but two of us decide to go beerless, alcoholless, not drinkless, because water is a real deal and hydration is no joke. So on today's very important episode, we debate some epic battles and we enter it with a clear mind, a clear focus, and a clear vision. This is Dudes with Brews on a porch.
Cue it.
You're about to hear the greatest show of your life. Dudes with Brews on a porch with Rob and Drew.
All right. This is the part normally where we would get down to the brass tacks, the business. We would discuss the beverages that we're going to consume, but I'll tell you, I just need a break. I need like a 2-week break or so, Rob.
I'm right there with you, man. We're in sync once again.
We might be thousands of miles away, but we are always in sync. I hit the hooch a little too hard this last Saturday. Too much. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed myself. Plenty of free beers, which was cool. But, you know, I woke up with a little bit of shame, a little bit of regret. I think when I overindulged in drinking, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything inappropriate or anything, but I just woke up with a sense of shame. And I'm like, why am I doing this? As I go to the bathroom for the third time to vomit the next morning. And I was just like, why did I put myself in this situation? I got to have better self-control. I got to understand, exactly what I'm supposed to be doing here. And it's not getting plowed and then throwing up the next day. I got kids and all that. And, you're allowed to indulge. You're allowed to cut loose. You're allowed to have a good time. But I don't know. I felt guilty almost about it. Shamed.
I get that. I get that anytime I'm in that position.
Yeah.
It's... do you get the thing where you wake up and you can't, you wake up at 4 a.m. and you can't go back to sleep and you're just trying to stretch it out in bed?
Yeah.
And your mouth feels terrible, all your muscles hurt, but they can't. And that's where I sit in that shame spiral of going you're supposed to be an adult, man.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And it's and then I spend the rest of the day and even the next day, living like I committed an insane crime or something, but I didn't.
Well, what's weird to me is I'm always going why can't I have if I have a good time drinking, right? Why can't I have that time sober?
Right. You probably could.
There's a way. I mean, I used to do that when I was younger because you if you just carry an empty bottle. I know we've talked about this, but if you're with people drinking and you just pretend you're drinking, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's just you and one other person, you can't. You're not going to get away with that. If it's you and a sober person, you're just drinking air out of a Bud Light. Well, Bud Light's not going to do too much anyway. Let's call it a Budweiser bottle. It doesn't really work the same. But at the same time, I know what you're feeling. My brain's really a mess. I got to take some time starting last night. I mean, I've been taking it easy during the weeks, but the weekends, this last weekend took a lot out of me.
Yeah, same. This last weekend, and I mean, I can I've gone to bachelor parties and I've told myself I'm not getting wild and crazy, and I didn't. I had a few over the course of the day. I kept my composure. I felt great the next morning. I just got to always do that. I think my plan wasn't necessarily that wasn't a train of thought on Saturday. I knew what I was doing. I knew what I had. Like, this is what I wanted to accomplish. And then it just was accompanied by the brewskis, by the free drink, free beer. I drink beer all night. And it was like the next morning was just rough. It was very rough.
Well, beer does there's certain times when beer does me in the next day. It doesn't, even if I only have like 2 pints or something, 2.5 pints or whatever, like it really comes down to, I drink very emotionally. So like, I can go and be very melancholy and sip a beer, and it's going to take me 2 hours to do a half pint. And I'm just trying to be out of my house, and I'm not, sometimes you're just not feeling the energy and the the upbeat flow of whatever. But then the right person can walk in and change that whole game, and then all of a sudden I'm drinking 2 pints in an hour.
Right.
And that's so I don't have the logic when that happens. It's really just like, hey, if good conversation's flowing, then so is the beer, and then I pay for it the next day. Sometimes I'm fine. I try to eat and drink water, but they say that that's a myth. I'm pretty sure it's worked pretty well for me. And whenever I forget to do one of those 2 things before I go to bed, I pay for it the next day.
Yeah. But it was, good time nonetheless. The shame was there, and I'm working past it now. And I just told myself, I need a little bit to just drink my Diet Cokes, drink my coffee, and drink my water. And that's so far so good. But today, the big topic of conversation, we're going to have a talk of battles. Now, one of them, we're going to be hopping on this bandwagon, I guess, this trending viral question. But before we get to that one, a while ago, you sent me a scenario. You saw it and you sent it. And it said, if you were to pick 2 of the following, and then you would have to, you have to pick 2 of the following: 50 hawks, 10 crocodiles, 3 brown bears, 15 wolves, 1 hunter with a rifle, 7 buffaloes, 10,000 rats, 5 gorillas, 4 lions. You have to pick 2 of them to be on your squad. And then you and those have to fight the rest of them. And I feel like it's a question that's important and probably says a lot about you. So now, do you remember what your response was, Rob?
Well, I know I picked like my picks.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I go back and forth on this dang thing because there's so many. I originally believed that if I didn't, I know I said the Hawks. How many Hawks was it?
50.
50 Hawks. I know I said 50 Hawks. And then I probably should have, like, 15 Wolves is probably the other one, right? 50 or 15?
15.
It was either that or the 3 Grizzly Bear.
Okay.
I feel like those are my picks. Now I've amended that based on your logic. If you want to get into what your picks were, your original picks.
My original picks, I said the 5 gorillas and the 10,000 rats. And the logic behind it, you have to be strategic in your battles. You have animals in the sky, you have animals on the ground, you have animals who can climb, and you got a dude with a gun. And you got some big ass buffaloes. They're just powerhouses. Wolves too are hunters and all that. And really, the core of that army is the 5 gorillas. Now, a gorilla has an immense amount of strength. So 5 gorillas is probably the equivalent of at least, like, I don't know, 25, 30 people, wouldn't you say? Perhaps.
Well, here's the question I have with this whole thing too, is that because like I said, because I'm on my phone, I don't have the list pulled up again. But I will say this: I remember you said 10,000 rats.
Yeah,
was on your picks, and I said 10,000 rats, and you go, "There's 10,000 of them."
There's 10,000 of them.
Yeah.
There.
Now, I've amended my picks because of this logic. I think I would go with the 50 hawks. Okay. And the 10,000 rats, because if you have the hawks but they're facing off against the rats, they're just going to focus on the rats, and then you basically lost your hawks. There's
Right.
10,000 rats, and that's like their favorite. Now, but if you have both, then it's like the guy with the rifle. He's got to focus on the animals in the air,
Mm-hmm.
but the rats can,
Gnaw at them. Big bend their ass.
I think gnats or rats are deceiving because they're not just like, it's not, you just don't stomp on a rat. I mean, there's 10,000 of them, like you said, they swarm you, and they might be better for slowing.
Sure.
I
would also use
but
them.
the 5 gorillas is a great call. I mean, that's, you kind of almost have to take that over the grizzly bear.
And
Can you control this army of animals?
I think they're with you. They're on your squad. It's you against them. I would use the 10,000 rats as grenades. Essentially, I would, I would throw
Just
one,
catapult them behind enemy lines.
Yeah, because you think about it this way: you got the wolves, right? You throw some fucking rats at them, they're gonna go after those rats. And again, 10,000, and you have an hour. I think part of the scenario was you have an hour to survive.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, so like that.
Yeah, like I said, the rats are good to slow. I don't think they're going to kill, but they definitely are going to slow and take the attention away from
this big ass gorilla.
Yeah, you got a bunch of rats on your back. You're going to be dealing with that. You're not worrying about taking a step towards me, the human who's hiding behind a rock.
I would just be riding on one of the gorilla's back, and I would say, I would name him, I don't know. What would you name your gorilla that you would ride on his back? Bruce the gorilla, and he comes. I'm on his shoulders, and he's, and then he's last in line. So we're led by the 10,000 rats going into battle. My little rat homies. I got like a couple satchels on, 20 each, 20 rats each satchel, just in case. So then when the hawks come, you chuck those fuckers. Hopefully, if your aim is good enough, you get a hawk in the head. He does a little swirly swirl, crashes. Rest of the 9,000 plus rats devour him. You just do that a couple times.
Do you think we'd get blowback if we actually tried to throw a satchel at a hawk once just to see how hard it was?
A satchel full of rats, or just a rat?
Well, beanie babies. They got to be about the same.
Maybe.
No, it's, man, I go back and forth on this. 10,000 rats. It's a lot of rats. You could legitimately throw 100 rats at everything.
Yeah, you're bound to hit something.
Everything else on the table, you can go 100 rats. You go for a line. 100 rats. You go for the other line. 100 rats. You go for another line. 100 rats. You go for. That's only 400 of your 10,000 rats.
Right. We're good.
100 rats for each of those 15 wolves. I mean, that's how many is that? All of a sudden, now we might be getting into some real numbers.
Yeah,
1,500.
Yeah,
of your 10,000 rats. So you still have 8,000 rats left after you take care of the lions and the wolves.
Yeah, you're good.
The only thing you really can't take care of, in my opinion, is the hawks.
But that's why you have the gorillas who can climb up the trees, or even just like hurl another gorilla in the air, and then they King Kong their asses to the ground.
I'm keeping my plan. I'm keeping the hawks and the rats, and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna 100 rats to everything else. If there's any leftover rats, they go for the gorillas.
And I was gonna say, what's the lone survivor then? And what's the final battle? Do you think? Are you facing off a gorilla? Are you facing off a lion, a buffalo? Like, we can't dismiss the buffalo. Those are powerhouses too. Those are just like giant.
Let me look at this list again. Yeah, buffalo, 7 buffalo. Jeez,
that's a lot.
I'm gonna have to use 1,400 rats on those.
Right. But
the big thing that I'm not thinking about also is there's a guy with a rifle. So when the starting gun goes, I mean, you got to assume you lose one of your gorillas right away.
No.
Headshot, done.
Headshot with a rifle?
Headshot. I think this is a sharpshooter we're talking about, but that throws my whole plan I'm gonna have to have like a the hawks are gonna have to fly in front of me for at least until the other hawks can get to the rifleman.
Yeah.
Or the rats and start chewing at his ankles so he can't aim so well. But I'm going to say the rifleman's got to get at least one clean shot before the two armies clash because he's going to be in the back.
Yeah.
So, and if I'm yelling, it's because I'm excited about the prospect of trying to figure out how to keep this damn rifleman at bay. I don't think he's going to be a blundering comic rifleman like in Jumanji. Like, no, this is going to be a dead-eye sharpshooter.
I was literally going to mention the rifleman from Jumanji. That's the image that came into my head. It was
so I imagine it's the same person, but with skill.
Yeah, he did miss quite a bit in that movie, huh?
He missed quite a bit.
Not as intimidating as you might think.
No, they really made it seem like he was like the main bad guy in that movie, right. But he was really kind of the same way that the Wet Bandits are the bad guys in Home Alone.
Yeah.
What they didn't realize is that the real bad guy in Home Alone was childhood trauma. Yeah, and you can't outrun that one.
The neglectful parents are the true criminals here. And not only did they did it once, they did it twice.
Didn't they do it? Oh, the third time it wasn't with the
McAllisters. Different family.
Yeah, but they did it twice. I mean, that stuff bled over into his real life.
Yeah, that's borderline.
That's how bad it was.
That's borderline Rugrat parenting level.
Yeah, Rugrat parents were
god awful. Whatever.
I'd say the best parents. So just your kid knows how to climb over the gate that you put up. You don't know. They've been climbing over the gate for 5 seasons.
Yeah.
And you're oblivious that they have the ability. Like Tommy didn't have to climb the gate. He could figure out how to open the gate.
Right. And then they all had the great idea, hey, let's gather our families around and take them to fucking Las Vegas. Let's take our toddlers to Las Vegas. We'll go gamble. They'll figure it out. They always do, those kids. Damn. Well, there you go. Maybe
I never saw Rugrats in Vegas. Is that a movie or is that an episode?
I think it was like a TV movie, like a special episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a one.
I mean, I remember the Rugrats movie. That hit me hard. That was
I think get lost in the jungle
emotional.
somehow, and they're or not jungle, but woods. There's monkeys in there because it crashed. I'm pretty sure the Rugrats takes place in Wisconsin because there's an episode where you hear Dee Dee in the background talking about going to Eau Claire and then La Crosse.
Seriously?
Yeah.
How is this not something that every Wisconsinite should know that? It should be, I mean, that should be, I see the most stupid Instagram videos. That's one I want to see.
Yeah, I remember the last time it used to be on Netflix, and I was watching it with kids, and I hear like, oh, we got to go to Eau Claire and then La Crosse or something like that. And I was like, holy shit. Wisconsin.
Well, their accent definitely isn't Minnesota.
No. But
their laid-back, laissez-faire style is more Wisconsin.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, just look.
And I don't know about you, but I grew up in situations where all of my parents and my aunts and uncles would get together and they'd go and drink coffee, beer, and smoke cigarettes in the dining room and just talk about who knows what.
Right.
And just we were left to our own devices. Like, just don't go in this. Just you're not allowed to go in this room.
Yeah.
Everything else, including the world outside, is fair game.
And the world doesn't end. As far as you can.
Until somebody notices that there's a child missing, everything's okay.
Right. But, yeah, besides the point, that battle situation is a tough one. But I think, I do think 10,000 rats shouldn't be ignored. It should be included because you can utilize them in a lot of different ways.
I mean, the big question is like if you break it down, in order to make an actual decision on this, you got to know how much control you have over these animals.
You're with them.
Can you game plan? Are you like, Andy Reid coming up with some crazy?
I think so. I
mean, because to me, then I want an airstrike. I need those hawks.
Yeah.
I don't want hawks flying overhead. And just going over my gorillas and my buffalo and my whatever.
Yeah.
There were no elephants in that list, were there?
No elephants. No.
No. Okay.
But this leads. So you kind of sparked this latest viral trend. I think you putting that into existence, you asking that question, and then now shortly after, or like the next month, the new viral question that's going on of who would win in a fight, one gorilla or 100 men, no weapons, no nothing. It's just pure brute force. 100 dudes, or 100 people, I should say, taking on one single gorilla. Now, I am on the side, and it's like an easy answer for me. The gorilla would win. The gorilla is insane. It can bite your freaking skull open in a second. It can crush your rib cage. It can just do the Donkey Kong spin and really knock these people out, brutally murder them in a second. And I think you're on the other side.
I'm on the other side of this, but I do need to know, how motivated are these humans?
Their goal is to fight.
Are they fighting to the last breath? Are they biting the ankles of the gorilla as they lay with their stomach open and
they fight until they're dead?
Then I gotta go with I think humans win that fight. I mean, 100. I said 100 rats would slow a gorilla down significantly, so I have to say that 100 humans, because it only takes the gorilla turning its back, making one wrong move, and I think that it's going to get tired after it kills the first 50 humans. But
humans are going to die.
Yes, there will. The 100 humans are not making it out of that battle. That's for real.
Right. They will be dead, and I swear to God, this is like clockwork. Every time we record, no other nights does my son poop his pants at this time. I swear to God. But every single time we record, my son's got to walk by us and then go, I pooped. He is mostly potty trained. We're still working on it. The poop part is hard for kids. But
he just wants his airtime, dude.
Yeah, I guess. But he's he's dealing with that. But anyways, people are going to die. How many survivors are there?
Like that, survivors not critically wounded. Like they're gonna walk away. I mean, they're probably not gonna walk away, but I imagine there's one guy that doesn't even have to throw a punch.
Okay, really?
Yes.
I think there's no way. I think there is no way.
How do you envision this gorilla fight going down? Is it in the trees where like the gorilla's like Rambo and he's like ducking and diving, he's coming from all different angles and he's up in the trees and he's or is it like small like quarters or in a wide open desert?
They're at Gettysburg.
Oh, well, that changes a lot because I think a gorilla could probably do some damage in that environment.
Yeah.
And it's hard for humans to go up and down hills.
Even I think in any land, whether it's full of trees, whether it's a cornfield in Iowa, or it's a hilly environment, as long as there's land, I think the gorillas win.
Okay, well then I'll ask this question because it's maybe I'm wrong about this, but like the big thing when it comes to primitive wars back in human history, you were kind of guaranteed to win if you had the numbers. Like if you had but that's an evenly matched battle, I suppose. Like same weapons, man on man. I just, I guess I should have looked up a picture of 100 people. It might not be as many as I think. But I remember seeing I never even saw this one ape or one gorilla versus 100 men. I did see like what was it 100 gorillas versus
10,000.
Yeah, and that was comically ridiculous. There's just humans flying out of the circle, and it was like, all right, well, this is not a simulation. This is Sims logic. And I didn't like it. I thought that the humans would do more damage. I think that they would do some real damage. And as soon as you get a little, as soon as you put a weak spot on that ape,
Yeah.
it's over for the ape. Take out his leg. You telling me one of 100 guys can't do a sideways kick to where the kneecap would be? Now you got a hobbled gorilla. Okay, he's got upper arm strength, but he's got nothing to balance it on.
I guess. I don't know. Do you
The guys in the back, the guys in the front, they bum rush the gorilla, all right?
Yeah.
The guys in the middle section, they're running backwards with their hands like this, interlocked down. And then the guys in the last 20 guys, they sprint up behind, put their foot in that, and get catapulted over the top. So now you've got human beings coming at you, running on the ground like this, and then other ones being flung over the top at the gorilla. I mean, he's going to be overwhelmed with not so strong fists, but it's still.
Yeah.
I think 100 ants could take me out. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Maybe.
If they're coming at me from all angles.
They're unarmed. They're only using their strength. Even if you assembled a great team, have you thought of any individuals that you would put together?
I mean, I've thought of some people. I definitely don't have 100, but
who are some people you would add to your list, your army?
The Rock's on the list.
Dwayne?
Yeah, The Rock is on the list. Probably.
I think
some of the
gorilla.
Some of those UFC fighters.
Sure.
You want some of those ground and pound, the MMA fighters that know the bars, the arm bars and the leg bars. I just don't know their names.
I think in that case, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is the first to die. I think
that's okay with me. That's kind of why I put him in there, actually.
I think the gorilla sees him coming, a man of significant size, and he goes, "This is the one. This is the one that I take out." Now, I think when you approach this battle, you have to think of it like you said, bum rushing or whatever. Essentially, like gorillas running at them, the men are running at it, and I think immediately 15 people are dead.
Maimed, maybe, but dead, I just don't see that happening. Is Andre the Giant still alive? Can we throw him in the mix?
I think he's
I don't care if he's 80.
I think he's.
Oh,
in his current state, he'd be screwed. He'd be done.
Yeah, he's just a body at that point.
Yeah, I guess.
And I didn't mean any disrespect to The Rock. I actually don't. I have no ill will towards Dwayne Johnson.
He's just a strong guy.
It just felt like a funny thing to say that I just put him in there so he would die first. That's not funny, and I apologize.
I would actually put some shorter people in that mix.
The ones you catapult over the top. They can't be huge guys.
How do you explain that? You're rallying the troops, and you're like, all right, front lines are these people, and there's just all these brutes, and then you got a person of smaller stature, and you go, boy, do I have a plan for you.
Yeah, that's about it.
The big guys are actually going to hurl you into the sky. Your job is to fall on top of the gorilla and make it count.
Just aim for the neck, throat punch, or grab on and start choking.
I think the gorilla instantly grabs those people.
Okay, but while he's grabbing those people, there's also simultaneously 10 guys trying to kick him in the nuts.
Well, I think gorillas are famously go for genitalia. I think they do. So
yeah,
castration galore happening in this scenario.
And that's what I'm saying. You gotta plan for the attack of the ape. So if he's looking down to get that kind of mutilation going, if that's his first instinct, all right, well then you want to catapult on top of him and come at him from the back. Maybe
you might be onto something, but it's a great debate nonetheless. A debate about the beasts, and I really don't know who would be the winner. Actually, I still think it's the gorilla. I really do.
Well, we're gonna have to agree to disagree on that one because I have faith in humanity, and you don't.
Well, I mean, if we're looking at like historic events that took place, remember the Harambe incident? Man versus gorilla on that one. Well, and a gun. They killed Harambe because he was dragging that poor kid.
Unexpecting man versus gorilla. Yes, 100. He'll take out 100 unsuspecting humans that didn't know that this was about to happen.
Sure.
I'm talking about people that train for this.
Yeah, I don't know what the situation is, but it's going to be like a straight to streaming service movie eventually. From the creators of Sharknado comes. It's just going to be called One Gorilla versus 100 Men. One Gorilla, 100 Men.
Yeah, it'll definitely. I think it'll be even bigger than that in terms of Sharknado got big because of whatever, but they're gonna do a 10-part miniseries on this thing.
You're gonna
get a backstory for all 100 men. You're gonna get a backstory for the gorilla. It's all gonna lead up to like the last moment where it's like the gorilla's like breathing out or whatever and eyes closed, and they're not gonna tell you who actually won. Because they want to get another limited, they want to get a season 2.
Right. Interestingly enough, Rob, speaking of wild animals that can kill you, that can really mess you up, one of my irrational fears, while I'm running certain trails in Wisconsin, is I always think like, what if I look to the left, to the right, or behind me, and there's a bear? What am I going to do in that situation? Keep running, try to sprint as fast as I can, try to get to a road, try to hopefully wave someone down and be like, I'm a frantic man, there's a bear, let me in. Irrational thoughts, right?
Yes.
Last week, Rob, there was a bear, not like very, very close to the trail that I run on. It was spotted. It was found on the local golf course. They had to shut down the back 9 because the bear was.
Which is this? The Springs or
Meadows?
Oh, Meadows, really?
Yeah.
I used to golf there quite a bit.
Yeah, they're right there. So. The trail that I go to is literally right there, and now I'm afraid. It didn't hurt anybody. He slept for a while, hung out. They had to close the back 9, and then he was on his way. But now I'm like, I can never go back on that trail because.
Did you hear what you just said? Your fear is of a thing that slept for a while, meandered about, and then left.
Because nobody was running by it. If something was running by it, it's probably going to come like, oh, I'm a bear. I'm going to come get ya.
I would disagree with you on that, too. I think you can run by a bear. As long as you don't have food and it doesn't have cubs.
I don't know, man. Have you seen Grizzly Man?
No.
You've never seen Grizzly Man?
I'm trying to think of which guy. This is the guy that took the camera out in the middle of
Alaska.
Oh no, I'm thinking of the other guy, Bear Grylls.
Bear Grylls into the wild,
right? And no, the guy that took the camera out and ate poop and stuff, and then it turned out that he was like his cameramen were giving him protein bars.
What?
Bear Grylls, he's a guy. He had a show.
No.
I'm telling you, man, this is a real thing. I think that was his name, Bear Grylls. And it was like he went into crazy survival situations. This was like the early days of like survival shows.
Oh.
And I always get them mixed up when people go Grizzly Man. I always think of Bear Grylls because the obvious.
Well, for being the correspondent, the Dudes with Brews correspondent of documentaries, I'm ashamed in you. I'm ashamed that you have never watched this documentary called Grizzly Man. Timothy Treadwell, going 13 seasons, 13 summers in Alaska. I don't know why, hanging with the grizzly bears, trying to preserve them from poachers and things of that nature. And he got ballsy. He touched their poop. He even like touched a bear, I think, at one point. And then one summer, he's setting up. He's just casually setting up his camera, and fucking bear comes eats him. He's dead.
I did hear about that.
And so in this situation, you see a bear. It's like, oh, I just got done hibernating. Oh, spring is here. Let's rock. Let's jumble or whatever. And then, oh, what's that in the distance? A thing running. I must go after it and consume. So, needless to say, I'm afraid to go on that trail. I don't think I can ever do it again.
You can and you will, because you're brave. And I believe in you. I think you can beat a bear.
You think I could beat a bear?
Absolutely.
There's no way.
I mean, you can definitely outrun a bear.
I don't think I can.
You just have no self-esteem, do you?
I'm realistic, Rob.
We're on the opposite of every debate tonight. This is very interesting. I think you can get away from a bear.
When it comes to like beasts that I could,
You're not a speed runner though, are you? You're a pace yourself distance runner.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean, I could sprint a little bit if I needed to, but I don't think not long enough to outrun a bear. Those suckers are fast.
I just feel like if the bear is all the way on the golf course, it's probably pretty well acclimated to humans. That's not its primary food source.
Yeah.
Have you heard of anybody being eaten by a bear in that area anytime recently?
Have I been eaten by a bear recently? No.
No. Have you heard of anybody being eaten by a bear in that area?
It only takes one.
No, it doesn't. If he doesn't have the taste for human blood, he's not going to come after you.
You don't know that.
You're right. I don't. I'm making that up. But that's what I'd tell myself when I wanted to go run on that trail.
Yeah.
What are the odds that I'm going to be the first person this bear eats?
Not
zero.
Not zero.
That's
right.
Too much for you.
Yeah, exactly. I think I would be afraid to run in California because there's bobcats and all that kind of stuff too. And those suckers are scary.
Bobcats, I haven't seen any. I've seen three. I had to bike right through 3 coyotes.
That'd be kind of
on the bike trail.
Scary too. Was it?
It was a little interesting. They're bigger up close than I thought that they were. And they were literally huddled on the bike trail, and I just went right in between them.
And what they do?
And they did nothing. They minded not. I'm not a small dog, so I've been in the presence of bear before, with cubs even.
In California?
No, that was in Michigan.
Oh yeah, no thanks.
Now we were inside, so we just stayed and watched through a window. It's cold outside, I think, but yeah, I wouldn't mess with a bear with cubs. That's for sure. I wouldn't mess with a bear. I'm not trying to say go mess with a bear. I'm just saying if you go run your game, I don't think they're going to bother you too much. It's not like trying to think like dogs. If a dog sees you running, it kind of gets like canine animals. Don't they kind of like see you running and go like, I got to go get that person? Like it triggers them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'd be interested to know if bears have that same like response. Like if you're running at it, that might be one thing, but if you're just running, I don't know if that's like going to signal to the bear like, oh, like sharks or piranha, like if you flail in the water like you're struggling, that like attracts them. Piranha, I think it is.
Piranhas?
Yeah, have you ever seen that video of the river monsters guy, like where he's like, they sense distress in the waves that go in the water of somebody who's like helpless in the water. If you just jump into and then he's like, I'm going to demonstrate this by jumping into a river where I just pulled out a bunch of piranha and swim around a bit, and he was fine.
Ashton is texting me, and he says that I can definitely defeat a bear with 100 other people, by the way. The 99 other people would be WWE people. That's what Ashton says.
He should go with UFC instead of WWE. Those guys just talk a big game. But otherwise, I'm on his side.
I don't know if he really knows much about UFC.
That's good. Don't let him.
Right. Violent.
Yeah. It's I don't like watching that stuff. I really don't. I mean, even talking, I mean, we're talking hypotheticals here, but
I like, you know, the UFC, they hype up all these fights, and I just see these people's faces afterwards, and I was like, people liked watching that. Your face is all puffy. You definitely have like 6 layers of CTE going on.
But the crazy thing is, you know how many fights they had to not get paid a lot of money for, where they look like that and only made like $1,000 or something?
Right. Or they lost and they just, their first exhibition thing is like, oh yeah, you just got in there and did it to show your training.
Although I don't know if UFC is like I don't know why we're on such like a fighting topic, I guess, but I don't know, like I don't think UFC is like boxing was, where it's like you kind of boxed around and got a name for yourself and you got bigger and bigger fights and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like you train for fighting and then like, I'm not sure. I honestly don't know, but I would definitely be nonplussed to jump into the ring and go like, $50? Okay, let me make a name for myself and then get kicked in the face a bunch of times.
Right. Not for me. Not my forte. No. But moving to a different sport real quick. Those godforsaken Indiana Pacers.
I don't want to talk about the Pacers. I don't want to talk about the Oilers. I don't want
2-0 against the Cleveland Cavaliers. A one-seeded team in Cleveland. In Cleveland. One-seeded team. They have injuries galore, but they had weeks of rest. They didn't have to play the first round of the playoffs. They got
but I'm telling you, the first round bye is it's a curse.
2-0.
You need to keep it's like that just gives you enough time to realize everything on your body hurts.
The thing that drives me crazy is everyone is now saying, what the Halliburton? And they're also saying, overrated what? Overrated what? Listen, I understand Tyrese Halliburton has this season especially gotten those last-second game-winning points. And it is 100% pure luck. This last game, he intentionally missed his free throw. He got the rebound. He steps back, sinks a 3. 4 seconds left in the game.
If he intentionally missed the rebound, I mean that's hey, you got to give credit where credit's due. If that's the game, if that's the way to win the game, he hit the shots. But to all those people that say it's underrated, what? Overrated. You better be from Indiana, because if you're rooting for Indiana or saying it's like you might root for the team because they're winning, but you're not going to Indiana. But no one wants to be there.
Right. But the same thing is like, because Tyrese Halliburton was voted the most overrated player in the NBA this year, and he's getting these
I didn't know.
He's getting these clutch shots. So that's why this overrated what shit is coming. He was the sixth. He scored the 6th amount of points in that game. 5 other people scored more points than him, but he's the one that's boasting about. I can't handle it, Robert, and I'm sick to the core. I am just decaying on the inside. Slowly. It's a slow burn, and not a good slow burn like you get when you're sipping bourbon. It's a slow burn of toxic, just fucking waste eating at your organs, slowly but surely. Every waking moment of your life. 2 years in a row, Robert. 2 fucking years in a row. We were beat by the Indiana Pacers. We've won 2 games against them in the playoffs. That's it, 2. And now they're going off and they're beating the number 1 seed. And you know what? They're probably going to make it. They're going to make it to the finals. Because God isn't real. And my hopes and dreams, once again, will be shattered. My hopes and dreams is to have that other team, their hopes and dreams shattered. That's what I want.
Yeah, but having them shattered on the biggest stage, that's the thing. Like a lot of people, because the Kings are going through it where, man, we lost to the Oilers 4 years in a row, first round of the playoffs, 4 years in a row. Think about that. That's 2 more years of the Bucks being taken out by the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah.
Edmonton made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. The championship. Lost.
Yeah.
I want to see it happen again, Drew.
Well,
everybody's
year...
like, "Oh, I hope Edmonton that the Knights beat the Oilers." I hope that I say no. I say the Oilers, they're going to make it. They're going to almost get to the top of that hill and look over again, but they're not going to make it. I want them to feel such a letdown. I want the rug to be pulled out. Not from the round 2, but from the end all finals championship game. That's how I want it to be.
That could be. I mean, the Pacers are lost in the second round last year, but it doesn't.
But honestly, I want the Pacers to lose as soon as possible, just because I'm sick of hearing about them.
Yeah, I don't. Indiana sucks. You're right. It's a lame ass state. The people drive like jackasses in there. I know from experience. There's nothing. Isn't Gary, Indiana, like an abandoned city at this point?
I was always just told to avoid that place. Like you don't want to even go through there. But they got Indianapolis, right?
Yeah, they got the Colts.
So I mean, there's the Colts and the race cars and the things and.
Sure. But nobody likes that.
Yeah, so.
They have a city called Gary. So boring that they named it Gary.
I never even thought about it like that.
Like, that's not a place you want to frequent.
What are we going to call this place? Gary.
You're right.
I guess we'll just call it Gary.
Right. It's crazy. It's I don't know. It just drives me nuts that they're doing so well. But yeah. Rob, I got to cut this one short. I got something to take care of real quick.
It's all right.
This would be the time where we would discuss the beers that we drank, but we're being responsible adults. We're acknowledging that we need a break. We're acknowledging, hey, some time away is good. Sometimes the separation is what grows the fondness, or something like that. We'll be back at it. We'll be sipping suds in no time. But for now, we're sober. We're stone cold sober in this world, in this godforsaken hellhole. We're embracing the suck, as they say, and not the good.
That's one way to put it. I mean, the sun's out. It's pretty nice here.
It's been very nice here too, as well. Actually,
I was thinking about going to the batting cage after this.
What?
Just hit it. I'm not drinking. Normally I would go to a bar or have a drink with somebody or whatever. But what do you do? I mean, I can sit around like I did last night and watch TV or whatever, or I could go. I got a batting cage like 2 blocks from here.
Do you have a bat?
I'm gonna go to the super fast machine.
You're not gonna hit anything.
That's fine. That way I can say, hey, I didn't hit anything, but why would I? I was at 115-mile-an-hour fastballs.
Yeah, dude.
Of course I didn't hit that. I'm not Shani Otani or whatever.
Shani Otani? Who?
I always say his name wrong.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Shohei Otani?
I don't know. You could always just...
He's a Dodger. He's a great hitter. He hits. He's
You're a Dodger
ultimately
fan now.
Like the best baseball player there is right now.
You're a Dodger fan now, huh?
I mean, I watch the Dodgers when I can. I'm not. Baseball, there's too many games.
Yeah, I agree.
Who has time for it?
Yeah,
but
I guess
anyway,
the Brewers can go fuck themselves. I guess, huh?
What's that?
The Brewers can just go fuck themselves.
Dude, I've never gotten behind. I mean, I'm always behind my home, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
If it comes down to Brewers or Dodgers, I'm going Brewers. But it's easier for me to watch the Dodgers, and the Dodgers win more. So, I mean, it's a little bit easier.
Loyalty isn't a convenience, Rob.
It is when you have 2 states.
Wow. I want you to reflect.
That's one of the
bit.
upsides to moving to a different state that they don't tell you about. You get options.
Yeah. There's a lot of different teams in California, too, that you can pick from. It's almost unfair.
Yeah, you think?
Oh, the Los Angeles Chargers aren't doing well? Guess I'm a Rams fan now. You just switch hats. You don't even have to switch seats. It takes place on the same stadium, for God's sake.
I don't think it does anymore, does it?
Same stadium? I think so.
Are they still which one are they using? They're using the
the Los Angeles
SoFi Stadium.
Yeah,
right?
LA Rams, LA Chargers. I think they same. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's the Clippers got their own arena now.
No, okay.
I think I'm pretty sure that they got. Yeah, somebody's got there. It doesn't matter. Anyway, you got to go. We hashed it out. We figured out. We didn't alienate anybody. I don't think, because we're both on each side of the debates that we had tonight.
We're more fair and balanced than Fox News. linktr.ee/dudes with brews for the link tree, for all the merch, for all the episodes, for all the glory, for all the social media. This has been another edition of Dudes with Brews on a Porch. His name is Rob. My name is Drew. God bless America.
Adios.
Audio. Goodbye, everyone.